Hi, my name is Louis Isaacs, and today I'm going to be answering Critical Reflection Question 3. How did your production skills develop throughout the project? Looking back at my preliminary task, I saw that I have progressed a lot when comparing it to my final product. In the preliminary task, I had to include match on action, the 180-degree rule, and shot reverse shot. The 180-degree rule is a basic guideline regarding the on-screen spatial relationship between a character and another within the scene. By keeping the camera on one side of an imaginary axis between two characters, the first one is always framed right of the second. Moving the camera over the axes is called jumping the line, or crossing the line. Breaking the 180-degree rule by shooting on all sides is known as shooting in the round. Match on action is also important when you want to progress your scene. Before I started my media studies course, I had very little understanding of production skills, such as camera work. As shown by my preliminary task, my camera work was shaky and my editing was weak. Several of my match on action shots were out of place, and most of my non-diegetic and diegetic sound were not balanced. To edit, I used Adobe Premiere Pro, which is a complex software that took hours to fully get my head around. I found cutting particularly tricky and fiddly, as milliseconds are vital. One of the most interesting forms of editing within my opening titles is the montage sequence of the lead character setting up his drum kit. I realized it was important to time the shots perfectly in creating match on action shots, something that I learned after completing my preliminary task. Furthermore, I use speed grade to help make my film look better. As I have never done this before, I followed YouTube videos and demonstrations of how to create color. As I gained confidence, I was able to start using Adobe After Effects, which really helped develop my understanding of special effects and creating titles. My production skills developed and grew throughout the duration of this project. Before this project came together, I filmed several openings to gain a sense of what would work and what would engage with the audience. My understanding of how to use a camera was strengthened by many hours of practice. The initial shots that I used lacked the clarity and focus of the shots in my final product. It took me a very long time to understand shots and angles and their effects. Other factors, such as my understanding of continuity and ambience sound, additionally developed as I understood the benefits of filming indoors in order to produce a decent sound quality. I was aware that I needed to present a variety of shot sizes in my opening titles, which is something that I didn't really present in my first task, making a cup of tea. In this task, I presented mainly close-up and medium shots. After doing this project and my preliminary task, I understood that certain shots, for example close-ups, could be to establish a character or show a character's expression, which is something that I presented in my opening titles. I learnt the importance of having a variety of shots. In juxtaposition, I didn't really use much extreme or long shots in the film, as I wanted to demonstrate the claustrophobic feel to the film to suggest that the lead character spent most of his time alone and indoors. The soundtrack was mixed using both Adobe Premiere Pro and Logic Pro X. I imported the soundtrack into Logic Pro X and manipulated the EQ to have a low-end frequency raised to further create the old and traditional jazz sound I wanted. Furthermore, I used Adobe Premiere Pro to adjust and tweak the levels of sound. I made sure that the non-diegetic sound was leveled at around -12 dB or the room sound to -15 dB. Also, I added in ambient sound, also known as room tone, to generate that more authentic and professional looking and sounding film. Before this project, I had very limited understanding of this process, and this project really helped me develop it. Overall, I feel my production skills have developed, and I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video.